Okay, first one. We have a build around for Velomachus Lorehold here. Who that's the new red-white dragon here. For people that haven't seen that one, oh, that preview's real small. People that haven't seen that one, God, that picture's bad too. 5/5 flying, vigilance, haste. When it attacks, you get to look at the top 7 cards of your library. 7's a lot of cards, chat. And then you get to cast an instant or sorcery with mana value less than or equal to Lorehold's power from among them without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So I think there's 2 different directions you could go with this card in Historic. I think you could build something based around Time Walk. We're getting a 5 mana take an extra turn card added to Historic. You could also take it from the approach of Reanimator, which I think is where I would like to take it from. Let's build around Faithless, Looting, and Unburial Rites. So I think I want to start with that. All right, so we've got Looting and we've got Unburial Rites. All right, chat. This is chat's favorite part of when we build decks on stream. What else should we be doing in this deck? So this is a start to a core here. Paint Bucket, thanks for the 2 months. Now we got to decide. We probably want, if we want to be an Unburial Rites deck, what other things do I want to be doing other than Lorehold with Unburial Rites? It checks it on both, Kid Martian. Stitcher Supplier is probably a good idea. Helps if I spell right. Yeah, so we want some other payoffs that we can floop into. We want some more cards to put cards to the bin, like Stitcher Supplier, and then we probably want some other big reanimate targets. What are we casting off of Lorehold? Yeah, and we want some more things for this to be able to cast. So what are some other instances of sorceries we might want? And then what are some other bombs we might want? Mardu Ultimatum. Chat, this card casts sorceries that cost 5 or less. What's the new? I'm gonna pull a second window up here for Scryfall, I think. Yeah. What's the new Lorehold command? Oh, just searching command is not going to get us anywhere. Legal in. Oh, the new commands aren't in here yet either. Good God. It's just so bad. They're not marked as historic legal though, chat, is the problem. See, I get that they're on the site. They're just not historic legal. So I can't use the actual historic search function to look up cards on Scryfall. Scryfall has this really handy future standard option. I guess they technically need like a future historic option too, huh? It's probably something they need. Is Lorehold command good enough? Ooh, I like Crux of Fate. I like the idea of Crux of Fate, and I don't know if I necessarily want them in the main. But some Clarion. Some Deafening Clarion seems decent too. Let's try a couple of Lorehold commands to start. It's another 5. What are format historic? What are some other dragons that are legal in historic? Yeah, Dracu sets one that could be worth reanimating. We could just also play things like Glory Banger. Blade-Wing Risen. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target dragon permanent from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's kind of sweet. If we built around a number of dragons. Yeah, we could play 3 mana Sarkhan Rummages too, right? Like that. I like that idea. That's Masterless. Am I remembering that correctly? Nope, Masterless is the wrong one. Which Sarkhan is it? Fireblood. Discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Add 2 mana in any combination. Yeah, I like that. So this is. It's been a hot second since I've used this. 36 cards total, 4 of which are in the sideboard. What's the new red-white card? The new red-white not quite cathartic reunion? It like lets you it lets you gain life. Anybody know which one we're talking about? No, not Lightning Helix. Is it Thrilling Discovery? And spelling is like, these websites really need a did you mean? Yeah, I like this one. Yeah, this is cathartic reunion, except if it gets counterspelled, you don't have to discard a ton of cards, which is sweet. Yeah, playing some Maulings in our mana base, so that way there are decent spells that we can hit with Lorehold sounds very reasonable. And I like that. At least 2 of those. Is it Valakut? Is it Awakening is the other one? Yeah, Valakut Awakening. Getting some spell lands in here to increase the density of things that Lorehold could hit. Sounds lovely. Yeah, sideboard. I definitely want 4 Rip Apart to be able to hit like things like Grafdigger's Cage and stuff like that. I don't know that we need Helix if I've got Deafening Clarion. Yeah, Rip Apart hitting Rip is good flavor. Rip Apart's the new upgrade, chat. So destroy target artifact or enchantment, deal 3 damage to a creature or planeswalker. Oh yeah, what's the new anti-ultimatum white card? That's definitely a card we want 4 of in the sideboard. Anybody know what that one's called? That's the backside though, right? Okay, sweet. You type in the backside, you get here. Yeah, so this card's gonna be a format staple for sure. Honestly, probably in standard too. But Ultimatum had a good weekend at the. Your opponent can't cast spells or activate Planeswalker loyalty abilities this turn as the backside of a 2/1 here. And this card you can cast in response to Sultai Ultimatum in order to stop them from casting things. I think I missed some resubs too. I've been poking at things. JMOs and No Lava and Paint Bucket. Welcome back. I appreciate y'all. Thoughtseize in the side sounds good. You want a sword? I want a rock. Thanks for the entire year. Welcome back. All right, so what are our lands look like in this? Honestly, I probably don't want Lorehold Command in this main deck. I probably want more ways to stay alive. A couple of Mire Tritons? Yeah, I don't hate that. I like Mire Triton. Silverquill Commando again. Nah, none of these are very good. And what we're doing here? I think thought seizing yourself is something you're not interested in doing very often. I think as far as main deck interaction goes, I'd much rather have more interaction that plays to the board rather than having thought seize, I think. Is Blade Wing historic legal? It is, yeah. Honestly, is Stitcher Supplier good enough? This is such a low quality card, and we don't have that many things that we want in the bin, right? What if this gives us room for Thoughtseize? Well, I like Mire Triton keeps you alive a lot better than Stitcher Supplier does. Magda. You're gonna have to tell me what cards do when you recommend them. No, Magda's not very good. Hey, thanks for the Prime Pickle Bolas. Welcome back. Bender, thanks for the 11 months. Good morning, good morning. Howdy, Maury. And this is the tough part of looking at a deck like this. I really wish I could look at the curve of this deck easily, but there's no, it doesn't show me the curve on this site. So this is 42 cards with 4 spell lands. I probably want to cut. I probably want like 25 or 26 lands. Yes, this is too many cards. I'm gonna leave the Thought Seizes in the sideboard. All right, I think I like this to start. Signor Ches, thanks for the 17 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. All right, 4 Blood Crypt, 4 Sacred Foundry, 4 Godless Shrine. I mean, I've got Valakut, Awakening, and Hagrimauling as spell lands. Do I want Mardu Triumphs? Sigarin, thank you for the entire year. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. So I've got 4 tapped lands already, chat. Yeah, we're not changing deck editors. All the other ones are varying amounts of shitty. Goldfish. Goldfish is the most functional. It doesn't do everything I want, but I'm sticking. We're gonna use it. It's the best. It's the best of the bad options with Arena not existing. I don't think I want more than four tapped lands. Honestly, I think if I want more than 4 tapped lands, I'd rather have more Mauling and more Awakening. Honestly, I kind of just want 4 Mauling, so that way I have. I think Mauling is the best spell land that we can get with Velomachus, right? Is that true? Are there any other 1 to 5 mana? Because this is a land, Mommy Makeout Summer. I wanna make my land drops. This isn't a spell slot, it's a land drop. But it's a land drop that also gets hit by this when we attack with it to be able to kill things. I don't think we have time for the triumphs, Milo. Again, I have 6 tapped lands already. These are, and this is again, we've talked about this before. When you think about deck building and you're building with these double-sided cards, you need to think about what that card is doing. You need to think about, okay, is this a spell or is this a land? These are lands. I want 26 lands in my deck, and 6 of them are these cards because these are utility lands that I can play with this, which means these are my tapped land slots. My deck is trying to hit things like Unburial Rites and Crux of Fate untapped on curve, which means I want 20 untapped lands in my deck, which means every land I'm playing that isn't either of these 6 lands needs to be untapped. Which people are recommending fast lands. Fast lands are not a good fit here because I want to play 5 mana spells on curve untapped. Yeah, it's probably a mix of pathways and buddy lands from here. Probably a mix of path and buddy land. So I probably want. We're building historic decks. Standard blues. Standard's gonna just be a bunch more Eldraine. Why do I need basic lands in my deck? We can put like one basic land in my deck if you want. But like, yeah, so like we're a base red-black deck. If you look at the spells we're casting, we're mostly red and black. We've got like Thrilling Discovery and this as white cards, then some white in the sideboard. That's true. There's probably gonna be more Field of Runes in a Brainstorm world. So maybe we want a couple of basics. Look at that. We'll do one of each basic and a Fabled Passage, huh? Blight Step, 2 words. So what did I type? BLI. And then just to double check our number of pips, we've got 8 white, 9, 10 white. Probably need more white than that. Mr. Bips, thanks for the 18 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. The fact that I've got a bunch of black on 4 Hagra Mauling probably means I can give up some black on these Blight Step pathways, huh? Because I currently have 4 and then 8 of these is 12, 16. I have 18 black at the moment. I probably don't need 18 black. I don't need black until Crux of Fate or occasionally this on 4. I need red early for sure. So I currently have 2 and then 8, 12. I have 16 red. It's probably fine. I kind of want 17 red. We're playing Sarkhan Fireblood, which is red on 3. So ideally, I probably want like 17. Maybe I gotta give up these Valakut Awakenings and play some Triomes. Looking at how my from the graveyard, it seems worse than the cards you actually want to hit. Do you not? I'm going to give you a timeout to read the card because it literally gives you something else from your graveyard as well. Yeah, a couple of Savvy Triomes will smooth things out. I think I'm going to turn at least one of these Blight Step pathways into a white-red pathway. And so again, when you're figuring out mana bases for decks, so again here, just to do a quick count through, what I'm doing here on my final count is counting how many black, red, and white sources I have here. So Hagra Mauling is 4 black. I have 8 shocks, or I have all 12 shocks, which is 8 black, so that's 12. Savvy Triome is 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 black, 19 with Fabled Passage. And then how many red sources do I have? I have 3, 4, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I have too much black and not enough red. So I want to turn some Do I have an easy way to turn a black source into a red source? I guess maybe I can't fit 4 Hagra Mauling. All right, final pairing doesn't appear to be a card, so if you're gonna recommend a card in chat and not tell me the text of it, please, final parting. No, chat, stop it. Peak Twitch chat. Okay, so here's another good deck building lesson for Twitch chat at home. So Twitch chat is suggesting that I add a 5-mana card called Final Parting to my deck over Thrilling Discovery because Final Parting is better when I have my dragon in play. And chat's not wrong that this card is better than Thrilling Discovery when I have this in play. But this is kind of the definition of a win more deck building thing, right? So you're trying to maximize the power of my deck by playing bad cards when I'm already in an ideal situation. And that's not how you should approach deck building, generally speaking. The question you want to be asking yourself is, okay, what does my deck look like in the average case scenario when I'm not in the best possible situation? Because guess what? If I have this in play and I'm attacking with it and triggering it, I should probably be winning regardless of which of these spells I'm flipping into, right? So I shouldn't need to have even more stuff to make my deck even better when I have this out, because my deck should already be good when this is around. Is the base idea. So like Thrilling Discovery, for example, is much better when I don't have this in play, and it's better and cheaper at getting me set up in order to play this. So yeah, this is better when we're doing this, but when we're doing this, we should already be in a good spot. Yeah, the entire deck building session day will be up on YouTube just like everything else for sure. All right, I wanted to turn a black source into a red source, then we're going to move on to the next deck, I think. I'm going to turn one Mauling into a Valakut. Into a Valakut Awakening, I think. I'm gonna call it a day. Or move on to the next one. And again, all of these decks that we're going to be building today are decks that will be played on stream either Thursday, Friday, or early next week. They're all going to be linked if you'd like to grab them for yourself in the deck queue on my website. So if you go to jeffhoogland.com, you can find the deck queue up there, and all of these links are going to get filled in real time as I add that there. What's the point of Fabled Passage? Fabled Passage finds you, like, questions like that, Twitch chat. What's the point of Fabled Passage? Could you articulate what's the point of Fabled Passage? You do realize that, like, this is a 3-color land, right? It finds you 3 different colors of mana. So I don't even really know how to respond to that question. What's the point of it? It finds us a basic land, of which we have 1 of each. So I counter your question with the question, what's the point of your question? If we're people talking about a braid, we've got Rip Apart. Rip Apart is sorcery speed, but it also tags things like Ley Line of the Void and Rest in Peace. So I don't know if this is strictly better, but I think especially in a deck like this that cares about enchantments, you want this card. Yeah, without a button to... I saw the comment from Moist Succulent. You don't need to keep spamming the same thing in chat. I don't, like, it's just awkward to have to manually type syntaxes in like that. I guess I can manually edit them up here, but, like, yeah, this is just legal and standard or set, legal in I do legal and historic then. And then I could type Oracle command, for example. No, is it name command? Yeah, see, this is the problem with not having an actual button. Like sitting here and fumbling with the syntax is awkward. No, name command didn't do it either. All right, let's build another. Let's move on. A deck is Tan Container. Believe it or not, that actually doesn't matter, Deebs. I don't care. All right, Sultai Citadel Storm. Boros Citadel, 4 of them. Four Brainstorm. All right, there's the start. Is it Weather the Storm? Is that the green one? Yeah, it is. Fredwick, thank you for the 42 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Is this an Explore package deck? I don't know. That's a good question. Is this an Explore package deck? I don't have an answer to that. I feel like I want to just start with like Weather and Tendrils and go from there. I literally just added Weather the Storm to the deck, and then someone, come on, Twitch chat. How do we gain life? Well, if you read the card I just put in the deck before you typed your question in. Yeah, Pierogi, this one has there's like 6 different ways to build this archetype. So like you kind of have to pick a direction to start with this archetype. So in my mind, when I think about Sultai Citadel Storm, where we get to Boros the Citadel here, for those not familiar, you get to look at, let's pull it up big. Boros the Citadel here, you get to look at the top card of your deck, and you can pay life to cast that card instead of paying its mana cost. And there's a couple different directions you could go with this. So we've played kind of explore storm decks in the past where you get to use the explore creatures to not only clear lands off the top of your deck, but also gain you life with Wild Growth Walker. You could also focus on things like Woe Strider and Surveil. You could also, another kind of far out direction to take, I think there could be a build of this where you literally don't play any basic, like actual lands, and you only play modal double-faced cards for lands, so you're guaranteed to be able to cast every card that comes off the top of your deck so long as you have life to do so. Yeah, you could build it. You could build it like Oops All spells, basically. Yeah, that's probably rough with 3 colors. I agree. I feel like another one too is what's the 5-mana Surveil demon, chat? What's the 5-mana Surveil demon called? Doom Whisperer. Yeah, that's my boy. You could just play Doom Whisperer as God damn it, Goldfish. You could just play Doom Whisperer as your your way to kind of surveil through the deck and clear past lands. That Reservoir, I'm not sure that Reservoir is better than just playing a bunch of Storm cards. Like, is Reservoir better than just like being Weather the Storm and Tendrils? Like, I kind of just want to start with like 8 actual Storm cards. Witherbloom Apprentice. Oh yeah, that's the whenever you cast or copy a spell, you get to drain one, right? Yeah, that seems fine. Do we want to be Mind's Desire? I don't know. 6 mana's a lot, chat. And like, I've already got all these other expensive things. So like from here, my gut says if I want to start here, I kind of want to. And so something else to think about too. We've got Brainstorm in here. Explore creatures kind of clear the top of your deck with Brainstorm too, right? Like you could Brainstorm lands to the top of your deck and then Jade Light Ranger and pick them back up. I think I want to start with. I think I want to start with the Explore package. Ooh, I like Witherbloom Command. Witherbloom Command's kind of a sweet one. Because this is technically, it's a little bit of interaction, but it's also free when we play it off the top of our deck with Boros' Citadel, because they lose 2, you gain 2. So you have to kind of churn past it at no cost. Yeah, you can clear Brainstorm with it too. Yeah, Bollig and Recovery could be okay. So part of the problem with playing spell lands in a build like this is that spell lands don't let us. What's the word I'm searching for? Spell lands don't let us explore into them. It's kind of a problem. We have a lot of beef. Yeah, things like Turd Timber are very exciting to play off of this. So for people that are saying you just want to ramp into Citadel as quickly as possible, I think you're thinking about a different kind of deck. The appeal of what this deck is trying to look to do is have these kind of mid-rangey threats that it can play with this card. Although maybe with these actual storm cards in here, maybe this is the wrong approach. Like people, for reference, the people in chat that keep shouting cards, chat, like, I've already got 40 cards here in play. So similar to when we talk about during normal streams where we talk about and make card suggestions, try and tell me why you think your card's worth playing and what it's better than. What are we cutting once I've already got things filled in like this? And okay, we should take the deck in a different approach and like gut the Explore package. Could be valid feedback / suggestion. Isn't Brainstorm awkward? I actually completely disagree. Not only does Brainstorm help us smooth our draw, and we have things like Witherbloom and Doom Whisperer to clear past it, but like imagine you've got cards trapped in your hand while you're citadeling, and you'd like to cast them with Citadel, and you hit a Brainstorm on top of your deck. Brainstorm off of Citadel lets you put cards from your hand back on top of your deck, so you can then cast them with life. Yeah, Brainstorm. Brainstorm's like one of the best possible things to hit while you have Citadel in play. It's really good. Is there any reason to play Narset in this deck? No, I don't think so. You don't really want to draw cards directly to your hand. Ooh, I like the suggestion of Explore. Explore lets us cantrip a little bit. It ramps. It lets us clear extra lands off the top of our deck while we're doing it. I like that. Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't do the Explore package on the first draft. Eridaz, thanks for the 2/3 view. I appreciate the Bezo bucks. Welcome back. Or Explore. Growth Spiral is much worse than Explore in this deck, chat. Because Growth Spiral explicitly puts lands into play from your hand. It does not let you play lands off the top of your deck. You cast or copied instant or sorcery spell, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal a land from among them, put it in your hand, put the rest of the bottom of your library in any order. Binding the old gods. Maybe, I don't know, I don't really want too many expensive spells in my deck, because remember, the more expensive spells we have, the more likely Citadel is to brick off once we get going, right? Like Arclight. This is 36 cards here. Think I like it. We'll add some lands and we'll call it a day. Nissa, Steward of the Elements, is uncastable off of Boros and Citadel. You can only cast her with X is 0. Again, chat, for the people that are recommending cards, especially once I have a core, stop just saying, do we want X? And instead tell me why we want X. Tell me why your suggestion is good as opposed to me telling you why your suggestion is bad. I don't actually know that this is a Thoughtseize sideboard, so your life totals are resource in a deck like this. So I think there's a good chance we want Duress as our discard spell in the sideboard, because most of the decks we want discard spells against, we mostly want to be taking non-creatures anyways. No, I think Duress is better than Inquisition because Duress takes things like 5 mana Teferi and Sultai Ultimatum. Here's a good lesson, good deck building lesson for people that haven't played formats with Thoughtseize, Inquisition, and Duress in them. Thoughtseize and Inquisition are main deck cards. You basically never want to sideboard Inquisition. You usually want to sideboard Duress. You sometimes want to sideboard Thoughtseize. But the types of decks that you want to board in additional discard spells against usually have bigger cards in them that you're interested in taking with discard spells, like Sultai Ultimatum, like 5 mana Teferi in this format. So Inquisition is a better main deck discard spell than Duress because it has flexibility to take creatures in the creature matchups, but generally speaking, you don't want more discard spells in the creature matchup, so you don't want to be boarding in a card like Inquisition. Well, I like the suggestion of we could be playing the thought erasure because it surveils. So Azusa versus Oracle is something that people often do that is very incorrect during deck building is maximizing your deck for when you're in your ideal situation. So don't look at this deck and say, okay, what's better, Oracle of Maldaya or Azusa when I have Citadel in play? Because ideally, my Citadel deck should be winning the game when it has its namesake card in play. So again, you should generally speaking be making deck building decisions to maximize the power of your deck when you're not in your ideal situation, as opposed to playing cards that are going to be weak when you're not in your ideal situation, but great when you are. More often than not, you're not going to have this card out, and when you do have it, you probably are fine with the slightly worse version when it's out, because you have your namesake card out. Alright, need a couple more lands here. And don't build to maximize your highs. All right, I need a couple more lands here, 8 more lands. I guess we could play some fast lands. Oh, I probably just want a bunch of Fabled Passages, huh? To clear Brainstorms. We're playing Oracle of Maldaya to do that, Zingzal. I think that looks good. Our number of colors should work out okay. We've got Zaggoth Triome and a bunch of shocks and Fabled Passage and some basics. So we've got Doom Whisper, Oracle of Maldaya, and Witherbloom Command that can all clear Brainstorms after we cast them too. So I think 4 Fabled Passage and these other cards to clear Brainstorms is plenty. 3 Duress, 4 Thought Erasure. Witherbloom Command actually kills Grafdigger's Cage's main deck, so that's nice. We need to be able to kill that card with Boros' Citadel. What else? What else do we want? Do we want in terms of things to play? I guess we have to decide what are so 3 Duress, 4 Thought Erasure. That's probably the base of our aggro plan. Or the base of our anti-control plan, sorry, not aggro. What do we want to do against aggro with this deck is a real question. It's kind of a weird sideboard card, but I kind of like the idea of playing what's the Death Toucher we put in the Reanimator deck? Again, the 2-drop. Mire Triton. I kind of like the idea of Mire Triton as a sideboard option because it's Death Touch and then it's free to cast off of Citadel because it gains you 2 life back. Thanks for the follow, Knights. I appreciate that. Welcome to the channel this morning. What are some other things that let us gain some life here? It could be decent against aggro. Yeah, Aether Gust could be okay. Yeah, Mire Triton clears a Brainstorm too in a pinch. Honestly, Mire Triton could be a card worth working into the main. This isn't really an anti-aggro card. I agree that Shadow's Verdict is just a great card. Look at that. Good enough? I think that's a good start. But again, like, none of these decks that we build today are going to be perfect or ideal. The idea is just that we want to get to a base starting point so that way when we start playing decks on Thursday and Friday on stream, we have deck lists to import, and then we'll make adjustments and change things as we go on Thursday and Friday and we're playing things. Erebos' Intervention doesn't cast with Citadel, is the awkward part. Like, for example, I wouldn't be surprised if 4 main deck Tendrils is unnecessary. Like, you probably don't need this much of this effect to really get going. Like, two of this is probably fine. But I like to start with lots of comp, especially with Witherbloom Apprentice. Like, there's a chance that this is just, like, better than Tendrils in a lot of situations. Maybe if you go down to 1 or 0 of this, but I want to start with this and play some games and get a feel for the new cards. Something people do too often, in my opinion, is they write off cards or ideas as not being good enough before actually playing games with them. So even if my gut says maybe this is too much of this effect, I want to start with it and see how it feels before we just get rid of it. Yeah, it's got Stormshoot, dog. You need something aside to deal with Grafdigger's. We have 4. We literally just talked about that, Chewy. We have 4 main deck ways to kill a Grafdigger's Cage. Witherbloom commands kills Cage. Super sweet flexible card. Anybody need a sandwich? We're gonna build some Ponza next. Ponza, for those not familiar, is red-green land destruction. All right, let's start with the easy ones. 4 Stone Rain, 4 Sawtusk Demolisher, 4 Goblin Rune Blaster. These are our cards that destroy lands in this format, right? Are there any other Primal commands yet? I forgot about that one. That card technically blows up lands. Yeah, we'll get to easy ones like Land War Elves in a second. Are there any other good playable land destruction things? No, playable, chat. I'm trying to stick to the cards that are better. So stuff like Haphazard Bombardment and Wake the Trolls are not things I'm interested in. Obscene Sanity, thanks for the 35 months. Welcome back. Flaming Greens, thanks for the follow. Good morning. I think this is probably enough. Honestly, like 16 ways to destroy lands is a lot of ways to destroy lands, chat. Gilded Goose and Land War Elves. Goose gives us a nice thing to mutate Sawtusk Demolisher onto, which is nice. Ravager Worm. Destroy target land with an activated ability. All right, I'll play 2 of those. 4 is probably too many. Two of those sound great. Ooh, we should play some Knotfold Slumbermound. Yeah. Yeah, I like that suggestion. 2 to 3 of those as a utility land. Yeah, I like Chandra, Torch of Defiance. Wasatch Warrior. Thank you for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. Feather did get some new tools in Strixhaven. Yeah, there's a Naya Feather build already in the queue, actually. Gonna take a peek at that. Ben Smith, thanks for the 15 months. Welcome back. Primal. So, Primal Command here, for people that aren't familiar with that one, in addition to putting lands on top of people's decks, this also gets us a creature out of our deck, so we could definitely add some utility fun-ofs in here. Like, I think an Elder Gargoth, Glory Bringer, Klothys. Klothys is kinda ramp. I'm gonna try a pair of those. A couple of Ooze could be good. It's just an okay card. I don't know. Ooze is probably worse than Klothys, huh? I really don't want to play Anger and Sweltering Suns in my Land War Elves deck. Good try though, Twitch chat. Good try. Ooze for more cheap mutate targets could be correct. It could also be right to play something like Gem Razor to give us more mutates with Sawtusk Demolisher. It's probably a sideboard card though, right? What's another good? So I've got 34 spells at the moment. I think I want 2 more spells. Yeah, what's another cheap card we can mutate onto? That's probably just Bone Crusher Giant. I like the idea of Bone Crusher Giant. Ooh, I don't hate Paradise Druid. I don't know that I have room for Abundant Harvest, chat. I like Paradise Druid because she fixes. I wanna play Chandra Torch of Defiance. Someday I will have the names of pathways memorized, but not today. What is Ponza? Ponza's a land destruction deck. All right, what are the other dual lands we have in this start? We don't have Rootbound Crag. This isn't a red-green cycling land deck. It's probably just like a bunch of basic forests, right? Yeah, we can play some Rootbound Crag. I don't know that I want more than like 2 of those though. Nah, we're starting with a bunch of Ponza, chat. Don't you cut my Ravager worms. Ooh, some turn timber sounds really good, actually. Yeah, I like that. How many red source of this? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then I have Goose and Paradise Druid. Yeah, this is probably good. I like it. I think I'd rather have turn timber than... what's it called? Shatter Skull Smashing? Thanks for the follow, Bossabell. I don't think so, Lampton. Like, we're trying to curve out in the early turns. I don't really think I have time to dick around with a cantrip like Abundant Harvest. All right, what's my sideboard doing? So let's do 3 Gem Razor, a couple of Braid. Probably just want some other pieces of removal of the sideboard, right? Oh yeah, we don't get hit by Grafdigger's Cage. So playing a couple of those sounds good. Yeah, I like some vortexes. What's the vortex called? Railing. Yeah, that's it. Honestly, our main deck's pretty good against control, so I feel like you should probably just round out and have a bunch of anti-aggro cards in my board. Third of Breed's probably fine. I want Bone Crusher on my sideboard. I feel like I'd rather have just like... a couple of Scavenging Ooze in here. It's like Graveyard Hate that's also fine against creatures. Gem Razor kind of fills a similar slot to Thrashing Brontodon. We could play like another Elder Gargoth. I don't hate that. It's preemptively having sideboard cards for Storm 2 Hasty. Yeah, probably. Weather the Storm isn't really good against traditional aggro decks. So, Weather the Storm's like a card you would play against like a burn-style aggressive deck, but it's not particularly good. It's not particularly good against, Old Growth Troll. All right, Vantix, I'm going to give you a timeout for shouting and then complaining that I didn't. Like, this is, like... All right, we're going to give Vantix a timeout. We'll take a second here to talk about... This is not a sideboard card. What on God's green earth? We're talking about sideboard cards. What about this? Where are you sideboarding this card in? 1, my deck has basic Mountain in it, and you're recommending a triple green card. 2, this card doesn't fill a specific role in any specific type of matchup. That's like an okay generic main deck card, but like, why on God's green earth would I want this in my sideboard? Stop it. Listen, chat, if you just keep shouting the name of a card and I ignore you, maybe include some suggestions of why you think it's good. And I wanted to time you out and then explain why it's bad. Yeah, honestly, Soulseer is a card that's probably worth playing. Dealing 5 is big game in red. Let's do that. With Gem Razors, I could probably just play 2 Abrade. Let's start there. And again, like I said, most of these decks aren't going to be perfect. They're not going to be ideal, but they're just giving us a starting point so we can play some games and get a feel for which cards are good, which ones are bad, then make adjustments and go from there. It's honestly impressive how many people keep recommending sweepers for my Land War Elves Gilded Goose deck. Come on, y'all. Ooh, green-white Ephemerate. There's so many sweet decks to build for this set. I guess Flame Sweep's less bad than the Sweltering Sun suggesting, because Flame Sweep leaves Goose alive at least. All right, Ephemerate here. Another mystical archive card coming to the format. Exile target creature you control to return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. Rebound. So it happens again at the beginning of the next. Yeah. So there's a few auto includes in here. Skyclave apparitions, an easy auto 4 of. I don't know that Thragtusk's a 4 of, but it's definitely an include. Yeah, this is probably just a Yorion deck, right? Probably a Yorion deck. What's the... Someone give me... what's Paulo's card, chat? Elite Spellbinder, thank you. 4 Elite Spellbinder. We want some Yorion in the main. Land War Visionary. Yep, that sounds good. Wall of Blossoms. Some Knight of Autumn's probably fine. Knight of Autumn's largely been outclassed by Skyclave Apparition, I think. Playing a couple's probably okay. Charming Prince could be fine. If I take a build around for Jeskai Phoenix, yes, 100%. Already in. Definitely in. Charming Prince could be okay. I need a couple other things that cost that are cheaper. Ones and twos are probably good, so Charming Prince probably fits from that perspective. Do we just want to play Goose? Goose is probably not unreasonable. This is a build around for specifically green-white. Blue is the color. So there's probably a couple different Ephemerate builds you could do. What if we do like the full food package here? We play like Trail of Crumbs, Gilded Goose, Wicked Wolf. This is already, this is 47 cards, so we already have too many here. So anything we play past this point, we'd need to have. Yeah, do I have room for a food package? Is the question. Because like this kind of fills a lot of slots here. Well, I'm already at 80 cards, chat. So like Yorion, I need like you get like 45 spells in a Yorion deck, chat. 47 tippy tops. Hey, Erdian, thanks for the tip. We'll get Gearhulk Phoenix added in there. And any of you at home, if you have a deck idea that you'd like to see me build on stream, either today or tomorrow, depending on how time goes, for a $50 donation, 50, we'll get your deck added to the queue. Not only will it get built on stream, but it'll also get played on stream either Thursday, Friday, or sometime early next week, depending on how the timing works out. Normally decks get played almost right away, but at a set release, things are a little bit backed up. We've got a whole bunch of things in here, so if you'd like to support my content a little bit and get something out of it, I'm happy to build around things that you'd like to donate for. Montoya, thanks for the 16 months. Welcome back. Yeah, instead of the food package, we could play Tool Smear, Land War Elves, just like get rid of the Trail of Crumbs. That's probably not a terrible thing to do. Yeah, let's do that instead of this, huh? You want to play Collected Company? What would the math be on how many Collected Company hits you need to play? Yeah, I don't know that this is a company deck. I mean, I guess we could play company instead of. That's a good question. Would we rather be a company deck rather than a Yorion deck? Because like I could get rid of Tolsmir and Yorion, and then I'm at a bunch of hits. I don't know if that's actually good enough. Like I could just play I could just play 4 Abundant Harvest and just stay a Yorion deck. And not being a collected company deck gives you more flexibility out of the sideboard. I put a couple of Sky Noodles in the main deck here too. It is a Swag Tusk. We're gonna split him with Tolsmir though. This is 47 cards with four Abundant Harvest. We probably get away with 33 lands with 4 Harvest and 4 Elves. You know, I'm just gonna leave a tab with the pathways up so that way I can stop typing it in. Because I have no idea what these things are called. Branch Loft Pathway. All right, what are other green-white duels in this format? What's the green-white cycle land? No, we have a green-white cycle land. No, we don't. We have an actual just green-white cycle land for 2. Scattered Groves. Are there any other green-white duels I'm forgetting? We could technically play some temples, I suppose. We are not getting the green-white hand land. I don't know. Untapped lands are kind of busted. Like, I'm already putting 4 Scattered Grove. Are temples better than Scattered Groves? Maybe. So the problem with Fabled Passage, chat, if you look at my curve, most of my deck costs 1, 2, or 3. So playing a bunch of tapped lands early does not sound super appealing. We could also play some Turn Timber Symbiosis here still. Do we want some Yasharn? Yeah, probably. Yeah, we probably want some Yasharn. Probably want 4 of those in the 75. Honestly, we probably just main deck 4 of those, right? Let's start 3 main. We'll put the 4th on the board. Oh, we are missing a main board card because the 80 does count the companion, doesn't it? Good catch, good catch. I like Vivian for the sideboard. Honestly, there's a couple of different. What's the old one? What's the plus to find a creature or land? What calls that? Vivian Reed. Yeah, I like her. We probably want some removal spells for the sideboard, huh? Some amount of Hushbringer effects for the sideboard. I'm gonna give you a 10-minute timeout to think about your suggestion. In fact, I'm going to add a bunch of removal spells here to the sideboard, so that way when people board in Hushbringer against us, we have ways to get rid of them. I think I like it. I got six ways to kill Torpor Robe effects. We want the Revelant Silence for Ultimatum. Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, we probably just need to We probably need to play a bunch of this card. Honestly, it's probably more important than Rest in Peace, huh? This card's like fine against control too, because you can like cast it to stop them from counterspelling you for a turn. Yeah, I think so, Pierogi. I think most white decks probably want some amount of this card in their sideboard. Renegade Rallier is not good. We don't have fetch lands in this format. That card's not good. All right, look at that. 95 cards. Green, white, Ephemerate. Love it. Does Revel stop Storm? It does not. So if you cast this in response to a Storm Trigger is copying spells. And again, if you want these deck lists for easy importing or looking at later, head on over to jeffhoagland.com. Under stream drop down here, there's a stream queue button. And you can see these links are getting populated in here as we go. So if you have to duck out and you want to poke back in later or see where we finished up at, this whole building segment will be up on YouTube, and all of the decks will be linked in here. All right, red-black Pyromancer. This is one that could go a couple different ways. Red-black Pyromancer actually might be a bit of a misnomer, because it's probably more like red-black Arcanist, right? Let's just call it red-black looting. Let's call it red-black looting. That's the god's honest truth of what this deck's gonna be. I feel like we have like 20 auto-include cards in here, in these. So yeah, so here's the question. So you have to decide, are you a Croxa deck or are you doing other things is a big question you have to start. So like, I instinctually kind of don't want to be all in on Croxa. Like maybe we play like 2 Croxa, but I kind of feel like I want to build the first draft to start to like not be a Stitcher supplier deck, to like not be all in on the graveyard. If that makes sense. Like let's like a couple of I could honestly see even as few as one Croxa, just to like have one to grind a little bit as it goes late. Yeah, we're probably a Luris deck. Yeah, I like the idea of splitting Croxa 1/1. So we can have it when it's good. Blood Chief's Thirst. And we don't need 3 of those. Yeah, Luris for a companion. Yeah, I don't think Spark Harvest is good without Is there another card that gets us value out of our graveyard? Claim Fame's not really graveyard value, chat. Yeah, cling to dust is not a bad suggestion. Ooh, I like that one a lot. What is it? It's Skycleave what? It's not Emperor, is it Shade? Skycleave Shade? Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna cut these Croxes actually. We'll put a couple Croxes on the sideboard, maybe. I like the idea of Shade. That's a sweet one that like doesn't hate graveyard hate being in the play. Is like still a 3/1. Yeah, I like that a lot. It's like a different version of Bloodcast, basically. I like that. Someone mentioned what's the witch called? The 3-mana. It's like a 3-mana pyromancer out of the latest set, right? I copied it earlier. Sedgemoor Witch. Oh, BT dubs for people that haven't seen one of these before. If you don't use a clipboard manager, let me tell you about something that will change your life. This is like just the list of the last 20 things that I've copied to my clipboard here, so you can easily pull them back up afterwards. It's life changing for your workflow. If you've not used a clipboard manager, this one I'm using is called Clipboard Fusion. There's a few different ones out there, but yeah, they're amazing. If you haven't used one of these before, they're really good. Clipboard Fusion even keeps copied when you like take screenshots of things. Like if I take a screenshot here, the screenshot is in my clip history too. Windows key V. Can't show history to see all your copy of both place turn on clipboard. Whoa, Windows has it built in? I didn't realize it has it built in now. Man, what a shitty operating system not telling me about features in it. I don't have to poke at that later. Apparently Windows 10 has one built in. I don't know how well the Windows 10 one works. Clipboard Fusion one. Yeah, this probably isn't worth giving up, Loris, huh? Back to the deck. Sorry for the aside. This probably isn't worth giving up Loris for. To Osby, thanks for the 17 months. Welcome back. Yeah, it's off by default. Why would you want people to know about features that you have? What if we play some Knights of the Evil Legion? What did I do to take a screenshot that quick? Windows key Shift S enables the grab an area of your desktop as a screenshot. Ooh, cut to ribbons. Yeah, I like that suggestion. And this is 38 cards, so that means it's actually 35 cards in the main deck. That's probably good. Cut to ribbons is a good one. All right. Shatter Skull, Smashing, Eggdoms, Awakening, Blood Crypt. What's the pathway called? Blight Step Pathway. Probably just want some of the cycling lands, honestly. 3. What's the red-black cycle land, chat? Come on, someone hit me up. Lingering Souls would be nice. Canyon Slough. Thank you, chat. Did you wait to buy packs of Strix, then buy individual cards that are missing, or do you buy called packs now? I would. So the upcoming Strixhaven packs, if you are planning to play Historic, will be the best value booster pack you can get on Magic Arena, because you'll get Mystical Archive, Rares, and Mythics on top of getting your normal Rares and Mythics. So I'm planning to open a lot of booster packs of the set. A lot. They're going to be surprisingly good value, yeah. I've got some Bedevils in the main, linked in. We're also, like, not all in on the graveyard plan. I disagree. Phyrexian Tower does seem quite useless. All right, so that's 25 lands with 4 cycle lands, 2 castles, and 4 bolt lands. Seems good. Got a good mix of threats, good mix of disruption. Yeah, I think Angrass Rampage is a great suggestion. Couple of a braid here. What's the black card that kills enchantments? Feed the Swarm. There's technically 2 of them now, yeah. Honestly, I think I want one of each. Nah, I think I want some of the new Exile spell on the sideboard for sure. So this deck wants to primarily play a lot of 1-mana spells Bane deck to flash back with Arcanist consistently. Yeah, I think like 3 of the new, what's the black Exile thing? Look at that, we got it. Baleful Mastery, okay. Whoop. Yeah, this card's great. Honestly, I don't even know if this is a Croxa deck. I kind of feel like it's not. Maybe it's kind of just like the best extra threat we could play, right? Yeah, there'll be more graveyard hate post board too. What if we just played like... Can I board Sign in Blood? Is that crazy for the control matchups? If I just like board copies of Sign in Blood? So the cards people are suggesting, this is Reach too, yeah. The people suggesting cards that break Lurrus, I'd rather play Lurrus. So talking about Sedgemoor, Witch, and Chandra. Now Lurrus is great. I think this looks good. This actually looks really clean, huh? We've got some graveyard stuff with Arcanist and Shade and then looting. But we're not like all in on that plan. We've got Pyromancer and Knight as threats that play without the graveyard. We've got our 8 discard spells. We've got decent removal in Chiefs, Bedevil, and Cut. We got a selection of other pieces of removal and good utility out of the sideboard. Yeah, I think I like it. All right, Naya midrange. All right, what kind of... All right, this is chat's favorite type of suggestion. Throw out cards at me. I have a lot of freedom with this build around. They just want Naya colors, and we want... Yeah, what are Naya playable cards? What are our threats? For Lightning Helix as removal/reach, how are we killing people? Chandra, that's a good one. I don't think I want to be a collecting company deck. Bone Crusher. We could honestly just build Naya Adventures. What are the odds building as Naya Adventures is just correct? High? Honestly, too, we could, thinking about all the cards people are suggesting, Lambton, this was your build around, right? Would you be okay with just red-white midrange? What if we built this red-white midrange? Like thinking over the cards that sound playable, I feel like we get to a playable deck. Yeah, I think we get to a playable deck with just red-white. We get to play 4 Flame Scroll Celebrant in the main. Yeah, Adventure seems dry. Vanguard sounds good. Yeah, I like that. Just a good... We probably still play Bone Crusher, because that card's good. Yeah, I like some Rip Apart. Honestly, probably just like 4 of those, the 75. Yeah, what's the new Luca do again? Permanent control uses spell ability to put a controls, draw a card. I don't know if this is. I don't know if this is good enough. I have a lot of 3s already. I've got Bone Crusher, Spellbinder, and Skyclave Apparition. I don't think this is good enough. Hey, Pro DM Joey, thank you for subscribing for all 13 months of March. Welcome back. Do we want Showdown? I don't know that this is a Showdown deck. Like, our curve's a little bit high. Glory Bringer sounds great. Yeah, it could be a 3-bit Inspector deck. I could also want a couple pieces of hard removal. Instead of Instead of Embercleave, what do we think of Skyclave Maul? Or Maul of the Skyclaves, as is? Yeah, I like Maul of the Skyclaves better, I think. This is too many cards if I fit 3-bit Inspector in though, too. This card's awful. Why would this card be playable? Okay, so this is... Honestly, I probably don't even have room for this. This is 34 cards here already. I kind of just like 26 lands, huh? Yeah, honestly, I think you play like 4 Shatter Skull. Discard a card. Nah, this is very good in this deck. What's the red white fast land called, chat? Someone help me out. Inspiring Vantage, thank you. Yeah, a couple of White Castles probably good. We don't have a 2-mana red-white cycling land. I guess I could theoretically play a Triome. We could play Savvy Triome. I don't have that many ones. It's too many. Obviously, chat. We need to play one Savvy and one Ragu Triome, so that way they can't Sorcerous Spyglass and stop us from cycling. Clearly, we need to split them. I like it. We've got some decent interaction with like Flame Scroll Celebrant. We got some decent threats. This is disruption here too. Honestly, the amount of disruption between Spellbinder and Flame Scroll here seems really good. Can you Spyglass lands? You can. Is Mazemind Tome not good anymore? I mean, it's fine, but our deck's a little bit, or an aggressively slanted mid-range deck. Oh, there's definitely... We're definitely putting a couple of mana tithers in the sideboard, chat. I've already got, like, Helix and Rip Apart and stuff in the main. Yeah, we could play some Cages and some Rips. Roiling Vortex. Yeah, I like that one. Oh, and you know what? Is it Redain? Honestly, Redain... How you spell Redain, chat? What's the white god? Someone type the white god's name in chat for me. I sit here fumbling, trying to spell it. R-E-I. Got it. Thank you. Honestly, Redain could be a main deck card. This card's pretty good. So I'm not even sure I like Grafdigger's Cage. Rest in Peace just seems better. Yeah, honestly, this is like, so this new set seems really sweet for decks like what we're playing right now, because traditionally speaking, a deck like this would have a lot of trouble with something like Sultai Ultimatum because we just don't have a lot of meaningful interaction, but we have so many good pieces of interaction for... We have so many good pieces of interaction for Ultimatum now. We've got Flame Scroll Celebrant, we've got Redain, we've got Roiling Vortex, we've got Mana Tithe, we've got Elite Spellbinder. Like, a lot of just good cards that give us meaningful ways to actually impact what the opponent's doing there without being in blue or black. Like, being able to, like, interact with spell-based combo without being in blue or black is huge. Cage is better against Coco, which is big. It's actually not nearly as big as it used to be. I really don't like boarding in Grafdigger's Cage against decks that are only playing Collected Company. And Rest in Peace is going to be much better against things like Phoenix. There's going to be people playing Blue-Red Phoenix, chat. And Blue-Red Phoenix can't take a Rest in Peace off the table other than bouncing it. Yeah, this looks sweet. Man, we've been building decks for almost 2 hours already. It's wild. Tendrils Storm. All right. Let's get a time to get a little weird. What is the best way? Thanks for the resub, Tokyo Warwind. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Technically, if you want a cute combo, Morag. I don't know what Morag does. Need Manamorphose, I'll take 10. I think Mizzix Mastery is probably... I think Mizzix Mastery is probably the best Tendrils enabler. Oh, there's an apostrophe. I think this is the best Storm enabler in the set. Exile target instant or sorcery spell from graveyard. For each card exiled this way copy, you may cast them without paying their cost. Exile Mizzix Mastery. We have to be correct. It says, yeah, I think you're supposed to like Mizzix Mastery with. Yeah, I like Faithless Looting. I think I like Mizzix Mastery with the treasure cards, right? What are the various red cards that let you discard cards and create treasures? That card seems god awful, Elks. I don't think that card is particularly playable. Do we just want to be a Magma Opus deck? I guess Magma Opus gives us something to do when we're not full storming, huh? And for the record, I was talking about things like Pirate's Pillage. What's the 3-mana Pirate's Pillage? There's the discard a card, get one treasure. Seize the spoils, yeah. Thanks for the half year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, I've been back on Magic for a hot second. We've been back for over 2 months now. Yeah, Prismari Command's probably a fine card. Moon Civi, thank you for the 18 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I probably want some like Sweltering Suns as a way to be a little bit interactive game one at least. Juggernaut, thanks for the third of the year. Did we just play Mind's Desire? Yeah, honestly, I think we might. We started with Tendrils, but this honestly might be. This might be better. It's just blue red storm. Coley, thank you for the 14 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Why would I play treasure map, chat? Don't just put a bunch of bad cards in my deck that are full of treasures. I don't really need the treasures to stick around either, chat. The idea is that, like, you do this and then your opponent dies. For people that are suggesting I start adding creatures to my deck, I don't really want to turn on my opponent's interaction. Thanks for the 14 months, Coley. So, like, there's no reason for me to, like, make their Blood Chief's Thirst and, like, Lightning Strikes and other miscellaneous interactive cards live game one, right? So, like, I really would rather avoid playing those creatures, I think, and just focus on, like, getting set up into, like, Mizzix Mastery into Mind's Desire, if that makes sense. Yeah, Creature Storm's probably different than what this is doing. You know what's probably really good? What's it called? What's the spell? What's the spell land that impulses 6 looking for instant or sorcery? Visions, yeah, Salundi. Salundi Vision, yeah, I want 4 of those for sure. I would like a couple copies of Grape Shot, yeah. Do I need more than 1 Grape Shot? Probably. I guess it's technically interaction in a pinch. Yeah, expressive iteration can be. I've got commanded here already. Storm counts their spells also. It does. Honestly, I think we just like put in 18 lands from here and call it good. Because I have 4 spell lands in Vision. So that would be 22 lands. And I have Expressive Iteration and Looting as cheap selection. And if I make it to 3, we have Seize the Spoils and Prismari Command. What's the blue-red fastland called, chat? Someone... The Spire Bluff Canal? Oh, look, I got one on my own. Sick. Sick. Seems good. Yes, we're all in on Mizzix Mastery Smash is exactly correct. This is the best Storm Enabler in the format without rituals. How are we gonna get to Mizzix mana? Pirates Pillage, Seize the Spoils, Prismari Command. Yeah, just treasure up. Yeah, I definitely want a bunch of Gearhulks on the side. Gearhulk on the side for Magma Opus sounds good. Have a little bit of a pivot post board. Narset for control sounds good. Let's put a couple of counter spells in here too. That looks good to start. I like it. I like it. Tendril Storm. So here's the question, right? What can we do with Tendrils that's not just a worse version of this deck? Is there something I could do with tendrils that's not just a worse version of this deck? Oh, we built the Citadel deck earlier. Durf, we already built this. Sick. All right, so we covered Tendril Storm by building Citadel Storm. Double them up, chat. Easy game, easy life. We built that one to start. If you want to see that one, you can grab the link. It'll also be in the full YouTube video later. Thanks everybody for hanging out this morning, by the way. Crazy to see over 1,200 people in here. Hope everybody's excited for some historic. To plug a couple of the things we have coming up here really quick. Whoop, I don't want my admin panel. The Hoaglandia Open Series will be returning this coming Saturday, April 17th. If you're interested in either watching or playing in some historic, we'll have full coverage of this tournament all day here on my channel on Twitch. We've got 34 people signed up already. Excited to see how many people we get and what sweet decks they bring for the tournament. So you can sign up for this on MTG Melee there. If you haven't seen our coverage before, if you check out the previous Open Series coverage on my website, our coverage is very professional. We get both players' hands. There's very little downtime. Our tournaments average about 70+% uptime in showing new matches of Magic. We do still have a little bit of frame rate drop like Wizards because we're screen capturing off of Discord, but you know, what can you do? It's the best we can. Jim Davis did the last one with me. CGB will be my co-commentator for Saturday, so that's exciting. Haven't worked with him before. Excited to pair up with him a little bit. I'm also going to throw in a shill for one of the sponsors here really quick. So we've had a thing scrolling in chat for Public. For the last couple of weeks, they are a social investing app that you can check out there at my link. Kind of think of them as they combine the kind of mobile investing apps that you've seen from other companies before with also having a social component. So you can use them to just make investments in stocks or fractional stocks, depending on how much you have to invest by installing their application. But they also have social boards tied into it as well. So if you want something similar to Reddit message boards baked into your app for talking about how you're investing and stuff like that, that is that baked in as well. All right, let's get back to deck building, huh? Let's go ahead and take a look at Mr. Ben and Watch. Thanks for the 13 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Is Blue Sun Zenith worse than pull from tomorrow? I don't know what pull from tomorrow does. And again, like, instead of me telling you you're wrong, no, yeah, just like think about what you're saying. What shirt am I wearing? I'm wearing a Tireless Pilgrim versus the Multiverse, or the Coalescence Apparel shirts. They're great. I'm gonna stew on Blue Sun Zenith, and maybe we'll get back to this one later. I want to think about that one for a little bit. You can't win the game with pull. Blue Sun Zenith is a win condition. All right, blue green taking turns. Let's build that one, huh? That sounds like a great one to build. If Blue Sun Zenith is too tough, you can change it to whatever you want. That's my deck. Sounds good, Chuki. I'm gonna stew on it. I might change it, but I'm gonna stew on it for another day and see if I can think of something good. Silvercore, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. All right, blue-green taking turns. Let's start with the easy one, huh? 4 copies of Time Warp. So this deck could be how do you spell Aldrin's Epiphany? Someone in chat help him, man. All runes, it's all runs. I added D in the beginning. All runs Epiphany. This This could be we had talked about this earlier. This could be a brainstorm Kefnet deck. It's probably a brainstorm deck. This could be a deck where we want Torrential Gearhulk does not flashback sorcery, so Torrential Gearhulk is very bad here. Faf, thanks for the follow. Tamio is good. I guess she digs for the time walk spells. She clears brainstorms too. Is it Collector of Tales? Is that the one? Yeah. She does read by Time Warp as well. Abundant Harvest does clear brainstorm, doesn't it? You could put two non-lands on top of your deck and then name land, or put two lands and then name it as well. Nissa for a win con. Listen, we'll worry about win conditions later. Calm down. Growth Spiral. Yeah, probably Growth Spiral and Explore. We could technically play a Blue Sun Zenith and then play Blue Sun Zenith as a win condition, technically, huh? You don't really. So the problem with trying to Blue Sun Zenith people out is you don't really quite go infinite with this deck, right? Like it's not like Nexus of Fate where you sit there and get to recast your Nexus of Fates over and over again. Like you eventually run out of ways to take turns. Like we're going to take a lot of turns, but it's not like all the turns like Nexus used to be. Four mana is a lot of mana, chat, for a ramp spell. Yeah, I think you probably this side kill them is probably the answer. I think regrowth is worse than ball getter recovery. I'm not quite at lands yet, so. Yeah, Narset's probably fine. And then honestly, this is our number of spells, right? It's probably one less Aldrin's Epiphany even. This is 35 cards. People keep talking about Mystic Sanctuary. Listen, chat, having 3 islands isn't trivial, and this isn't modern where you could crack a fetch land and find your Mystic Sanctuary. So like, yeah. No. Bay of Wishes only gets cards from your sideboard. Yeah, I don't think Primal Amulet's good enough, Pixie. Card's pretty bad. It's a 4 mana card that doesn't impact the board the turn you play it. I don't know that I want Kefton in the main. And again, like, this is the tough part about playing a creature light deck, is like putting a Kefnet in my deck suddenly gives up virtual card advantage. It means that all of my opponent's removal spells that they previously were blank cards in their hand suddenly are active because I've decided to put a Kefnet into play. How are we not dying? We're going to ramp and then we're going to take some turns. So here's, again, for people that don't understand fundamentally how card advantage works. Kefnet, I'm going to pull it up here for people that don't necessarily remember this card. You're right that Kefnet goes back into your deck if it dies, but this card putting itself back into your deck gives you some amount of inevitability in that you keep redrawing this same threat, but it doesn't actually stop card advantage, right? Like, there's still 1-for-1ing your God Eternal Kefnet when it tucks back into your deck. Now, Nissa's not already doing that. Nissa is a card that's trading their removal spells for your lands in a worst case situation, and Nissa ramps you and gives you control over if you're turning lands into things to begin with. And this is the type of card where by the time you start using Nissa, they're probably losing the game a lot of the time. So Nissa really isn't comparable to this card that all it does is sit and play and eat removal spells. Yeah, this is very similar to what we have put together. Yeah, I don't think Mystic Sanctuary is good. Yeah, playing a fog effect could be fine. They were not playing Abundant Harvest. Quandrix Command gets our Time Warp back. I don't think that card does that. Oh, this lets you go infinite. That's actually probably pretty good, huh? So if you have 2 of these, you can Quandrix Command, put Time Warps back into your deck, and then the second command puts 2 Time Warps plus the first command back into your deck. Okay, yeah, I like that. That's great. I forgot about the third mode. Yeah, that's kind of sick. Yeah, two of these with Time Warp lets you build infinite turns. And this card's like kind of okay. It's like kind of okay at like buying you time anyways. Yeah, it's super. Honestly, I could see playing more than 2 copies, just because if it gets countered, you want to have more of it. Clinic, thanks for the 24 months. Honestly, I feel like with this, what if we just go for pure misery and we just like don't play Nissa? I think that's the plan. I think we cut the Nissas and we go for pure misery infinite turns. And the win condition, we'll just like put a creature land in the mana base for the win condition. Yeah, it's good versus auras too. All right, yeah, we're gonna put a 4th one in the sideboard. Yeah, it's a hate card against auras. Oh yeah. Epiphany makes 2 birds. That it does. That it does. Epiphany makes 2 birds, chat. Okie doke. Yep. Okay, that's the game plan. Nah, screw your Thassa's Oracle. I'm gonna put like a Crawling Barrens in the mana base. One Crawling Barrens. We have 1 Crawling Barrens and 3 Aldruin's Epiphany, chat. It's all you need. All right, let's finish our mana base breeding pool. Quandrix Commands also pumps our birds. That it does. Oh, we get to play a free companion, too. We do. How do you spell the first word in that companion's name? Someone throw it in chat for me. Kira, thank you. Look at all of these win conditions, chat. Chat didn't think I'm gonna cut an Aldrin's Epiphany because look at all these win conditions we have. There's so many win conditions, chat. Honestly, I probably want. What's the blue spell land that finds instants and sorceries? I probably want some of those in my deck too. Salundi, thank you. Don't do the companion, it'll make the opponent spec blue-white control and our deck will seem less miserable by comparison. Is this a Botanical Sanctum deck? Oh, we don't have a blue-green cycle line. I was gonna say, do I want a blue-green cycle line? We actually don't have that. Never mind. Yes, we're fine on Botanical Sanctum. I like it. So this is like 26 lands with 3 of them being vision. Okay, so we have Haze of Pollen, Shark Typhoon, Quandrix Command. Some disputes are probably good. Honestly, Thragtusk Kirata of the SCG sideboard sounds good too. I probably want some amount of ways to interact with. I probably want, Memory Lapse. Yeah, some Memory Lapse sounds great. I think we probably have an okay control matchup, chat. We've got Shark Typhoons and Disputes and Memory Lapse is probably plenty. And like our main deck has a bunch of Narsets and stuff in it. The next rotation is after the first of the next block or when 22 releases. End of September, OB. Yeah, this sounds great. Blue-green taking turns. Got infinite turns wrapped up, chat. And you thought you were free of infinite turns. But let me tell you. Ways to remove Rip as it stops infinite turns. Yeah, maybe you want some naturalizes or something in the sideboard. Yeah, Rex Sage is legal, but Rex Sage isn't really a control card, Kenix. Some amount of naturalize might be, like Wilt might be okay here. Would I rather have Wilt over a 4th command? The 4th command's really good against the Auras deck, though. Probably don't need 4. Yeah, but like you probably want You can counter it, but you probably want some number of ways to take it off the board if it slips past. Hey, thanks for the 19 months, Flame. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Where do you grab the links for previous decks? Go to jeffhoagland.com and click go to jeffhoagland.com and click deck queue. Sorry, my admin panel's my default because that's what I usually go to. Stream queue. You can find all of these lovely deck lists in the stream queue here. All right, let's build another, shall we? Green White Taxes Company. We were talking about this earlier when we built blue, green, white Ephemerates. This will look a little bit different, but it'll have some similar things to this one. Yes. Okay, so 4 Elite Spellbinder, probably at least 3 Redain, Thalia Guardian of Thraben, Llanowar Elves, Abak, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. So, something that I think Archon of Emeria, I don't know what that card does. Huh. Yeah, okay, I'm in for that. I want 4. We'll start with 3. Do we play Flame Scroll Celebrant? Because we can hit it off Collected Company. But we can cast the backside. At the very least, I want on the side. I think I honestly want some of them in the main. I think I want 4 in the 75. We got a white card that gives your board indestructible. What's the white card that gives your board indestructible? It's a new 3-drop. Anybody know you can sack it to give your stuff indestructible? You're good if you want to splash tonight. Okay, maybe we'll play a couple of red lands to cast it. Nah, even Mind Sensor's not a very good card. Is it Selfless? Is his first name? It is. Selfless Glyph Weaver. Good call. Just got back from deployment. What a strange and wild ride it's been. Hope the family's well. I am doing well. Glad you're back safe, Reckless. Thanks for keeping me around. The new Luca. Huh? Beansy did just say they were okay splashing into Naya. I mean, this is like a decent effect. This is like good against people playing spot removal, and like red black Arcanus is going to be around. Big Wine, thanks for the 42 months. Welcome back. I can see this being okay. I want to try at least some of these. Feel like I would be remiss if I didn't try it. Oh, Skyclave Apparition. Duh. Easy 4 of. Honestly, if we're gonna go full Naya, I think I want the Flame Scroll Celebrants all in the main. Traneth Magistrate and how it interacts with Elite Spellbinder. That's a sweet catch. If I'm gonna be in Naya, it's probably right to play Bone Crusher Giant, right? I think I'm gonna demote Archon to the sideboard. And then this is 36 cards, Bane. So we probably just play lands from here. We want Sonic Death Monkey. Thanks for the Prime support. There's a ton of great people you can send that to every single month here on Twitch. Thanks for sending it this way this month. What was I gonna say? Do I want what's the mammoth called? The 3-mana 3/3 that's also a land. I definitely want 4 of those. Yeah, the modal double face mammoth, Kazandu, yeah. Or Temple Garden, for Sacred Foundry, for Stomping Ground. Inspiring Vantage is a fast land in our colors. Now, I think cutting lands for a cantrip in our Thalia deck is loose. So I probably want my last 4 lands here to all make white mana. I've got a number of white cards on 3. This is probably enough red. We've got 12 red. Probably all like 1 more red. We'll get 3 branch loft pathway and then 1 red-white pathway. So here's a thing to consider about a deck like this. 1, I have 11 turn 1 green sources, which is an okay amount to play this on 1. But 2, this is a collected company deck as well. So playing Land War Elves on the second turn of the game, like a reasonable curve in a deck like this is like turn 1 tapped Kazandu Mammoth, turn 2 second tapped Land War Elves, turn 3 cast Collected Company. So like Land War Elves doesn't have to be a card you're playing strictly on turn 1 in order to get value out of it in a deck like this. Is something to consider. But we are mostly a red-white deck with company. Yes, you are correct. Rest in peace in the sideboard is probably something we want. Eyeball Head, thanks for the 1.5 years. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, definitely avocado. I would 100% take that. What do we want for our last couple of sideboard cards here? Probably a couple of ways to destroy artifacts and enchantments out of Collected Company. Ooh, I like Klothys. Klothys and Rexage Stone. Oh, Knight of Autumn. That sounds great. I actually might not need three Archons. I kind of feel like I want... Well, we have... Harsh Mentor is similar to this, right? Or am I forgetting what Harsh Mentor does? Yes, this is very similar to Harsh Mentor. We could play Ferostodon. I don't hate that. Yeah, like, I think the Angels matchup probably isn't unwinnable if we have access to something like Ferostodon. Yeah, I like fitting that in. I probably don't need the Selfless. I probably don't need all the copies of these. I like it. Sweet. Blue, red, fat caster mage. Now we're talking my language, chat. Yes, if you ask me to pick a deck that I most want to play, we're definitely gonna be playing blue, red, fat caster mage on the first day. Avocado body of research combo sounds good. Thank you for the support. Blue-green Splinter Twin it is. Don't laugh, it works. I enjoyed Bioshock, and I'm glad we're in a reality where you host Magic esports tournaments this weekend instead of the past one. Imagine, can you even fathom hosting a major tournament the week right before a new set releases? Wouldn't that just be incredibly silly to do? You like host this big tournament in formats that nobody gives a shit about because they're about to be irrelevant? Why would you spend money doing that, chat? I can only assume that if you ended up hosting a tournament this past weekend, it was because you were surprised by the fact that the set release was coming and you scheduled your tournament really far in advance. It would only be inexcusable to schedule a tournament last weekend if the people scheduling the tournament were also the people that were deciding when cards released. That would be the only circumstances where that wouldn't be okay. I would be empathetic to an independent tournament organizer scheduling their thing in advance and then getting surprised by a set release. But I would assume if you know when the cards are releasing, you would never make your tournament schedule line up like that. All right, 4 Magma Opus, 4 Torrential Gearhulk. I don't know. Use your imagination to fill in the rest, because this is where I want to be in life, chat. This is what I want to do. All right, Brazen Borrower sounds excellent. I don't know how many Sublime Epiphanies we want. So like Magma Opus gives us a good thing to do with this. We probably want some amount of Sublime still, but probably not 4. Yeah, I definitely want Prismari Command. Oh god, yeah, I could not believe that they named their event this past weekend the Strixhaven split when Strixhaven cards weren't legal. Just like peak WotC decision making there. Just like let's name our event. Let's name our event after cards that aren't currently legal. I don't know that I want to be a Blood Sun deck. I feel like I want to be an instant speed deck here. I feel like I want to be a flash deck. Yeah, I gotta decide. So like people ask you about how many brainstorm enablers there are here. I think so. Two comments in chat, both of which I think are valid. One person was like, "Okay, do we go Jeskai so we can play Lightning Helix?" I think that that's a valid thing to experiment with. But the other question is, how many brainstorm shuffles do we have in blue red? And the upside to staying in just blue-red is we could play a bunch of copies of Field of Rune in this deck as ways to clear brainstorms and also just have utility. So it's like, do we... Magma Opus puts itself in the graveyard. You don't need to play something like Looting. Thanks for the follow, Edge Champion. Yeah, we could just be like... We could just be like, yeah, you could play green for Growth Spiral too. Is a real suggestion. Slip Verk, thanks for the follow. Good afternoon. Yeah, Rewind felt good with Gearhulk in the last build that we played too. That's true. That build had Night Pack Ambusher in it though, which changes the dynamic a little bit. We are getting Electrolyze. My gut says Electrolyze probably isn't playable. What's the 4-mana draw 2 that cycles for 1, chat? Hieroglyphic Illumination? Yeah. I think for Illumination, for Magma Opus, Prismar, this is probably enough decent cards to flash back with this. Yeah, I think it's better than Behold because it cycles for 1. I think this is better than the Behold one because it cycles. It's probably wrong not to play Bone Crusher Giant. Thanks, Eldraine. Do I want Shark Typhoon? I don't think this is a censor deck. I think I'd rather have some more hard counters in here. Are there any of the other new blue-red cards that I'm interested in playing? Doesn't look like it at a glance. I don't really want to play a sorcery speed card in my deck with a bunch of counter spells and flash things. Thanks for the entire ear cyanide. Welcome back. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm at 32 cards here. I kind of want to try Electrolyze, but the fact that I'm at Prismari Command and Bone Crusher Giant is 8 ways that deal 2 makes me think that that's probably not very good. Like having like more ways that only deal 2 damage means I'm going to die to a lot of things. You're not sure I want 4 Prismari? It's fair. $28 cards left, and they're not going to be all lands. Honestly, I could see playing 28 lands. I'm a big fan of land drops. Yeah, I definitely want Soulseer and a Braid in the sideboard. I don't know that I want to main deck those cards. Especially with Prismari Command giving me ways to destroy artifacts. Yeah, we could play a couple of Sublime Epiphanies for sure. All right, let's add Lanza. River Glide Pathway, look at that, I remembered. The hand lands are pretty bad. Generally speaking, the hand lands are going to be worse than most of the other duels you can play. If you look at Pioneer decks, a lot of them don't play those lands. They're super awkward. They're worse. They're almost assuredly worse than Buddy lands, especially a deck that doesn't have 1 mana plays. Yeah, a couple of Castle of Interest is probably fine. Set me up at 59. I don't know that I really want Spire Bluff Canal in my deck that's trying to curve to giant spells. Yeah, I have 1 more land here. Maybe I want a couple of cycle lands. Thanks for the 2 years, Zaffa. You want to play Shatterskull? We could play some Shatterskulls. Over 2 of these mountains, maybe. I think Shatterskull is probably better than Spikefield. Magma Opus is kind of like Ramp. Yeah, kind of. In a roundabout ways. And I think we can get away with only 26 lands in here because we've got Brainstorm. Yeah, this could be another Salundi Vision deck. Salundi Vision does dig for Magma Opus, which is kind of gasoline. Salundi also clears Brainstorms. All right, I think I'm in for Salundi Vision. I'm going to cut this Electrolyze. I'm going to cut a Castle of Interest. That sounds great. All right, sideboard. What does it mean to clear a Brainstorm? So that's a good question. Jargon. What does clearing a Brainstorm mean? So Brainstorm is a very powerful card because it lets you draw 3 cards for 1 mana, but you then have to put 2 cards from your hand back on top of your deck. So clearing a Brainstorm means you get rid of the 2 cards that you just put back on top of your deck, because this card is actually very bad if you cannot change the cards that you're putting back on top of your deck. Brainstorm locked is what we refer to it as. When you cast a Brainstorm, put 2 cards back that you don't want, and then you can't shuffle or look past them in any way, and then you're stuck redrawing those 2 cards you just put back on top for your next 2 turns. So this card lets you see very deep, looking for an answer for very small amounts of mana, but it's important that you have something like Fabled Passage, Field of Ruin, Salundi Vision to kind of look past those cards that you put back on top of your deck so you're not stuck redrawing them. Is the thing. This card, I think, is going to end up being worse in this format than a lot of people are expecting it to be. I think that it will likely be playable, but this is not going to be a busted card like it is in Legacy in this format. Yeah, some Narset's fine. A good suggestion for the sideboard. Give me Ponder cards. Ponder would be much better than Brainstorm in this format. It would not be close. What else do I want to side? Soulseer. 3 of those. Some negates, probably. Mystical Dispute, Aether Gust. Couple of Braid. Would Modern be a better format if they just ban fetch lands? I don't care about Modern. I don't really care what they do or change there. If you don't have fetch lands, I think it's Preordained, Ponder, Brainstorm. Now, I think Ponder is probably the best Telepathis. Commence the Endgame's not really a playable card, no. Yeah, do I want some sweepers? Chandra's not very good in my deck full of counterspells. Some sweepers are probably not a terrible idea. Yeah, Ponder sees 4 cards, Preordained sees 3. Do I want, like, Storm's Wrath? I think formats that have a lot of good cantrips in them tend to be tedious and dry, and this format would be better off without having a bunch of cantrips in it, yeah. Oh, you know what I probably want in this sideboard? Honestly, I don't know if I can fit them in the main deck. Some blast zones or ratchet bombs might be the last card that I want. Ratchet bomb was really impressive in the blue-green deck that we played a little bit of. Ratchet bomb giving us flexibility to kill permanent types that we can't deal with otherwise. Mizzix Mastery is not a sideboard card, chat. Your sideboard card should be solving problems that you have, not just being generically proactive cards. I kind of like the idea of Ratchet Bomb. I guess we can bounce and counter things. Maybe that's wrong. Death Shadow ended up not really being a card people are playing. Chaos Warp's kind of funny. That's not a card that's very good against aggro, though. And I kind of want this last slot to be another card for aggro. Right now, looking at my sideboard, I've got only 5 cards for aggro, maybe 6, 7 if this card is playable. Chaos Warp is good against auras. Alright, I'm sold on Chaos Warp. I fucking hate the auras deck. Easy sell. Auras is not going to get worse. So yeah, this card doesn't care about what's it called? Doesn't care about Kaya's Ghost Form. Just like get target thing out of there. I don't think Stubborn Denial and Battle Rage are the things that are keeping Death Shadow from being really good in this format. I think the primary problem with Death Shadow in this format is the lack of things like Street Wraith. All right, Jeskai Phoenix. Yeah, fetch lands 2 to agree. Honestly, I think Street Wraith is more important than fetch lands. Street Wraith is a really messed up card in that archetype. This archetype has a lot of auto includes. Arclight Phoenix, Faithless Looting. Or Opt. Do we want Lightning Helix? Yeah, I probably do. That's pretty good. What's the new red-white discard cards, draw 3? Thrilling Discovery. All right, and then what do I want for my extra threats here? Couple of Crackling Drake. I probably want 4 Crackling Drake in my 75, just because it's good against Rest in Peace. Brazen Borrower is a creature that's also a spell to bring back Arclight Phoenix. Sounds great. I think Lightning Axe is a sideboard card. You know, Red Finale? I don't have that many sorceries yet. I feel like I want another 1 mana card. I probably just want to play a Grip of the Spikefield Hazard. I think this card's low-key busted here. Like, not quite shock, but it, like, lets us hit land drops, too. Yeah, it could be right to just play Crash Through, honestly. Nah, I'm done with threats, chat. We've got 14 threats. No more creatures. I need spells. Thrilling Discovery is red-white. Is red-white, what's it called? Chart a Course. Yeah, that could be good. The Spikefield Hazard gives me more 1 mana things. I like a couple of Chart a Course. Seems fine. Rip Apart's definitely a 4 of in the sideboard. So this is 40 cards in the main deck with 4 spell lands. Magmatic Chandler. That's cute. Yeah, I think 20 lands with 4 Spike Fields probably good. Maybe we could go down to 19. I mean, this card doesn't look very good. We could maybe play a Finale with the addition of Chart a Course. I probably have enough. Strategic planning better than Chart a Course with Brainstorm. Yes. Yes. Kinda. Not strictly. Maybe. I don't know. Yes, no, I don't know, maybe. So, like, this is much better at putting Phoenixes in the bin, right? Like, yeah, that one's better with Brainstorm, but this one gets your birds in the bin better. We have better Cathartic Reunion. You know what could be playable too? The Rummage Adventure Dork is a card that's perhaps playable. I mean, I have 4 copies of Lightning Helix talking about making my aggro matchup easier. Yeah, Merchant of the Veil could be a card worth considering. Do I want Triumph? I don't know that I want Triumph. Like, I've got Spikefield Hazard as a tap thing currently. many blue sources is this? This is 4, 8, 12. Not nearly enough blue. Probably can't play Inspiring Vantage. $16 red, so probably just want some blue-white pathways as the last one. Whatever that one's called. Turngate pathway. My kingdom for a Seachrome Coast. Now you don't really have room for shuffle effects. So we'll clear brainstorms with things like Stormwing Entity, or we'll just draw past them. Things like thrilling discovery, stuff like that. We'll just brainstorm. Brainstorm's just a cheap card that lets us keep churning more cards. Yeah, risk factor's not really a playable card. When you're building these mana bases, what's the ratio of sources of pips you're looking for? So that's a question that's really complicated because it depends on what spells you're playing, but it also depends on like what cantrips you're playing too, because your cantrips dictate like seeing more cards and stuff like that. So they're like building mana bases. There isn't really like Frank Karsten has their mana math article, but even that doesn't strictly apply when you're taking into consideration like the number of cards you're seeing per turn in the early games. There's a lot of asterisks, and it depends basically. All right, so what's my sideboard gonna look like? I get to play a bunch of Rip Apart because we're in white. I like the idea of Narsets and other planeswalkers that go bigger. What's kind of sweet too with Rip Apart over Abrade, Rip Apart lets us kill our opponent's Narsets too, because this does damage to planeswalkers, which is excellent. Kinda Pomoin, so cantrips count somewhere between 1/4 and half a land. Kinda, except they don't count towards the color that casts them, right? Because you need that first color. What do you think of like some Deafening Clarion? How many white sources do I have? I have 11. I don't have cantrips, so it's probably fine. Maybe a couple of Deccan Stone. Clarion dealing 3 is a big deal, Impton. And then I probably want some counter spells. Actually, maybe this is worse than like Aether Gust, because Aether Gust is a anti-aggro card that can tempo Ultimatum. So we put like a couple of Aether Gusts and a couple of Negates. Like a Mystical Dispute as a cheeky fun of. Honestly, I'd play Bone Crusher main over Bar. I think you're very wrong because not only is Bone Crusher mediocre against the food deck, but Brazen Borrower is one of the best cards you can have in this format if you're in blue against the Auras deck. And I think that there is a strong argument that the Auras deck is the best deck in the format at the moment. It's very, very good and continues to put up good results. You need cards like this in order to be interactive against it. Also, you're talking about Bone Crusher Giant being better in racing situations. The evasive body in Brazen Borrower lends a lot of credence in racing situations as opposed to just the 2 points of Stomp. So I think this card's much better. Thanks for the follow, mister. All right, we got one more here, chat. Got one more here. Some blue-green Splinter Twin. Hey, thanks for the 1.5 year, Marky. I appreciate it. Welcome back. I don't know, there's a bunch of great things, Guac. Got a bunch of good ones hanging out. All right, blue-green twin. What's the library card called? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody? Bueller? Body of research. Got it. Look at that right there. For body of research, for Simic Ascendancy. So this thing, for people that haven't seen this, creates a 0/0 blue-green thing and then puts counters on it equal to the number of cards in your deck. And Simic Ascendancy gets a token on it every time something you control gets a 1/1 counter. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, if this has 20 or more counters on it, you win the game. Yeah, that's a question. Do we want to splash Fling is a real question. I don't know the answer to that offhand. Red also gives you some appealing removal, which is kind of nice. Yeah, so we gotta decide like what do we want to be doing when we're not Simic Ascendancying. Oh, we could just stay blue-green and play Hadana's Climb. I have a soft spot for that card. Oh yeah, what if we just build this like Teamer Twin? What if we try and build like a... Okay, yeah, no, I know what I'm doing now. Yeah, we're gonna build blue-green... We're gonna like build blue-green fair cards. It just like happens to have body of research. Is that the plan? What if we don't ramp and we just play like blue-green fair cards? Instead of playing this as ramp, we play like Land War Elves. Yeah, we could play the Explore package. For Gene Light Ranger, for Merfolk, Branch Walker. Yeah, we could play Incubation Druid as a way to ramp up into this. It's good. It's good with Hadana's Climb. Honestly, I think I'd rather be more in on Climb than Ascendancy. Explore package kinda clears Brainstorms. I don't think we're a Henge deck. We don't have that many big things that make Henge cheaper. Probably want Brazen Borrower. as just a good interactive card that's also decent against auras. Do you want to play Abundant Harvest? Yeah, I could see that. I could see Abundant Harvest being good. Can chat please stop recommending cards that are already in my deck? Three people have recommended cards that are already in the deck in a row. Stop that, chat. Damn it, Twitch chat. Do I actually have room for, like, looking at this, like, look at the number of cards I have? Do I actually have room? Maybe I don't have room for the Explore package. Yeah, I could just play more generically good cards like Questing Beast. Does this account towards Carnage for Sensi? I think she does, right? Yeah, what if we just, like, put more good cards in the deck? It's a bold strategy. Uro seems like it could be decent. Thank you, Twitch chat. I appreciate you. I think I like this. We could play like Churn, Timber, Symbiosis as a 3 of. Nissa doesn't work with Ascendancy, doesn't she? How weird. It's so strange that Nissa is templated differently than Body of Research. So this makes a 0/0 and then puts counters on it. This puts counters on the land and then makes it a 0/0. She still has synergy with Hadana's Climb though, so it's probably fine. Shango Pango, thanks for the half a year. Welcome back. Oko. Yeah, I think she's probably still worth playing, but it's good to note that that is not synergistic. Yeah, I think I like these spells. Let's add. She also technically ramps us into this too, right? Yeah, she's good. She's decent with Crisis too. Honestly, Questing Beast might be worse than Crisis. Why, like, Yorvo's just like kind of a big dumb beater. I don't know that I really want another big dumb beater. Carnage, that's a great Twitch name. Thanks for the Prime support. Welcome to the channel this afternoon. Scooz is just a good card. I don't really have a slot though, chat. I've already got all my spells spoken for. I'll put some Scooz to the sideboard. You want some Vorn clicks over Questing Beast? I guess we are playing Incubation Druid and Land War Elves. Alright, I'm in for Vorn clicks. What's that pathway called? Bark Channel Pathway. Oh yeah, I guess I should skim these real quick and see if there's other ones I'm interested in playing. The fight negate could be good. Is Glasspool Mimic actually good here? I actually don't have that many creatures that are worth copying, right? I feel like if I want more spell lands, I'd rather just have more Turn Timber Symbiosis, right? I don't know if Simic Command's good enough. I'm just looking at that. I guess it gives counters on things, technically. And bouncing things isn't terrible. But we have Brazen Borrower to bounce things already. You know, I don't know if this is good enough. I think I want some Decisive Denials in the sideboard. Honestly, this card might even be good in the main. Definitely want them in the 75, though. Honestly, the Aura's deck is popular enough that putting a couple of Quandrix Command in the sideboard's probably fine. Just to have 6 ways to bounce postboard. This could be okay too, honestly. Let's do 1 command and let's do 1 tempted by. Yeah, you just like grab their thing. Sounds great. I should finish building my mana base, huh? Three forest, crawling bear. I don't think I have room for colorless lands in my mana base. I think for utility lands, I want to just focus on Turn Timber Symbiosis. Yeah, so Garenberg could be okay. Is that good? It like works with exactly Krasis and Vornclix. It's kind of narrow. I don't know that I really want that. I think I'd rather just have more untapped lands, especially in my Land War Elves deck. All right, what are my last couple of sideboard cards here? Decisive Denial, Aether Gust, Quantix Command. Honestly, a couple of Memory Lapse is probably good in my deck that can combo kill people. Do you think I want Cage? I don't know that I really want Cage. I'm really kind of low on Cage in general. I guess Jund Company could come back up. And the Phoenix deck's gonna be a thing. Yeah, okay, we'll play Cage. People are adding Faithless to this format. Oh, I want some Scavenging Ooze. Let's do 2 Cage, 2 Skews. Maybe 3 Aether Guts is too many. I actually really like Scavenging Ooze. 32 cages. All of the cage. Thanks for the follow, Kwis. Do you think I like it? Honestly, this deck looks sweet. I have a soft spot for Hadana's Climb in my heart. So this deck's doing a lot of things that I'm interested in doing. I like it. We like have Body of Research plus Simic Ascendancy, but we're not like all in on this plan, and we've got other things to do with it. We got a good, consistent 2-color mana base. We get to grind a couple different ways. We get to play Abundant Harvest as like a reasonable card selection card. Seems sweet. That being said, I'm ready to cast Abundant Harvest named spell and hit Turn Timber Symbiosis, like flip my computer over. Okay, sweet. Look at all those. Look at all those fantastic decks we have put together. 3 hours building decks. If you want to see the process behind building these decks, it's all going to end up in a video on my YouTube channel later this evening once it uploads and processes. If you just want to get the actual deck lists here, you can check this out. Look at that. It's already there. Go to jeffhoagland.com, stream queue. You can see links to all of these different decks that are going to be coming up on how to work on Horizon Zero Dawn for Boros. No, it says variety. It says variety right here. These are variety games, chat. I know you're half illiterate as a Magic player, but it very clearly says these are variety games and they're for the PlayStation or the Switch, okay? All right. At any rate, that's going to wrap up on our deck building session for today. For the next couple of hours, I've got a sponsored